Just let me go. Please let me go. You like to love so hard and then you throw it away. You like to open skies and then you blame it on me. You're someone I can never be with. You joke about my flaws and weaknesses. Why'd you love so hard and then just throw it away? You opened up my heart and just to close it on me. Don't blame it on me. Don't blame it on me. So don't you blame it on me. Oh.
हेलो यूट्यूब। तो लास्ट टाइम हमारी स्ट्रीम किसी ना किसी प्रॉब्लम की वजह से क्रैश हो गई थी और मुझे जाना पड़ गया था इन 30-40 मिनट्स में, और बहुत अच्छी स्टोरी चली थी। आर्कॉन को गिल्टी पाया गया है, ठीक है, और हाइड्रो आर्कॉन फ्रीना को डेथ सेंटेंस दिया है। तो उसके आगे की स्टोरी जब फ्रीमेन एंटर करता है कोर्ट रूम में, तो यहाँ से कंटिन्यू करेंगे, ठीक है। ये गेम ने यहीं से ऑटो सेव किया था। सो लेट्स बिगिन। सेटिंग्स चेक करा था, कोई नहीं, चलो।
Is the trial still going?
या वेरी ट्रायल इज स्टिल गोइंग।
You finally made it. I assume this means you've completed your mission?
पर हमने शायद फर्स्ट स्टोन लाएगा जिस लेट का, जो हमने रूइंस में देखे थे। ये रहा फर्स्ट स्टोन।
That the first prophecy slate? Huh.
I looked everywhere and finally found it at the bottom of the sea. It took me a long time to get around some dangerous stretches of water. But has the trial already concluded? Then doesn't that mean I've come too late? Oh no. Father will be disappointed in me.
Don't worry, the mystery hasn't been resolved yet.
Thank you for your hard work, Mr. Fremine. Please allow me to review the record left on the slate. Traveler, I believe that you have already seen the other existing slates. I would like you to come here and confirm.
चलो फिर नीचे चलते हैं। On to the stage.
Huh? So what do you see?
This looks like turning the oceanids into human beings.
I believe I have now made sense of the Hydro Archon's crime. It has to do with Fontaine's lost history.
अच्छा, ओशनेट को इसने लोग
Isn't the Hydro Archon just guilty of deceiving her people? Oh, wait, no, that's Farina, and we've already proven that she's not the Hydro Archon.
तो आर्कॉन ने किया क्या था प्रीवियस आर्कॉन्स ने?
So when you say Hydro Archon, do you mean the real Hydro Archon we've been kind of talking about?
Yes, the first हाइड्रो आर्कॉन ने कुछ किया था जिसकी वजह से ये प्रोफेसी या हेवनली प्रिंसिपल से इनके ऊपर ये सजा दी है।
In truth, everything that you've encountered in Fontaine up until this point can be traced back to the contents of these stone slates. However, I'm uncertain as to how much sense they currently make to you.
Association between the contents of the real and the event in the real life.
Okay,
ठीक है।
let's try to recall the contents of the other 3 stone slates. Paimon will do.
ओके, select the checking. तो हम फिर से ये ट्रायल सीन करने वाले हैं। फाउंटेन में सब कुछ ट्रायल से होने वाला है।
The first stone slate describes what you just said. It seems to show the previous Hydro Archon using her divine power, and then the Oceanids turn into humans.
शायद उसने कोई टैबू ब्रेक किया था फर्स्ट आर्कॉन ने, हाइड्रो आर्कॉन ने। एक टैबू होगा मेरे को लग रहा है।
Does that mean that Fontanians are transformed Oceanids? Oh, Paimon wasn't expecting that. But if Oceanids can turn into humans, then perhaps this process can be reversed as well.
प्राइमोडियल वाटर वापस सबको, सारे इंसानों को ओशिनिड्स बना रही है जो ओरिजिनली थे, जिसके डिसेंडेंट है वो।
The second stone slate shows Celestia floating in the sky.
सेलेस्टियल
and the
पागल हो गया
Hydro
होगा।
Archon and her people worshipping it together. But the heavens still brought judgment down upon them.
इतना बड़ा कांड करोगे, शायद उसने कोई नेचुरल ऑर्डर को डिसरप्ट किया होगा, इसीलिए।
This must be the point when the Hydro Archon and the Fontanians were branded with their original sin. Does this mean that the original sin and the Hydro Archon sin are the same thing?
Yep.
The third slate shows the Hydro Archon sinking into the sea surrounded by many people.
पहले दो फाल्कन अलग है, तीसरा जो स्लेट था उसपे शायद फुरीना है, तीसरा स्लेट है फुरीना बिकॉज ऑफ द कैप.
That reminds Paimon, didn't we also watch that happen to someone else? Well, the fourth slate is the prophecy
Navya.
the Fontanians have been talking about. People dissolving into the sea, the Hydro Archon crying on her throne, and so on.
ये है पूरी प्रोफेसी.
We didn't believe that such a crazy disaster could happen at first, did we? But after that incident, it was just a question of when and not...
It seems to show the former Hydro Archon is a divine partner or descended into people. The truth behind serial messages. ये तो इसका आंसर होगा नंबर 3 का. ये है क्या?
That doesn't sound...
ओके ये वाला नहीं है, शायद ये हो सकता है. यही है
We
फर्स्ट वन.
know from the case of the serial disappearances of young women that Fontanians can be dissolved in and the first stone slate tells us that long ago, the Hydro Archon used her power to turn Oceanids into humans. This might be the reason that Fontanians can dissolve.
ट्रैवलर की वॉइस सुन के ना बहुत अजीब लग रहा है कानों में. नेक्स्ट. वेरीफाइड ट्रूथ.
That doesn't sound... That doesn't...
ए हम क्या सोच रहे हैं, चलो
That doesn't...
तो ये होगा.
Perhaps what is about to take place has all happened before. The true sin of the Hydro Archon that Nervalet mentioned, and the original...
मैंने स्किप कर दिया. ये तो नाव्या से रिलेट करता है.
It's not as simple as falling into the sea. When Navia fell into the sea, her consciousness was subjected to judgment. The stone slates show the people gathered around the Hydro Archon in the sea. Could that be alluding to the same thing?
और इसके नाव्या को प्रोटेक्ट भी किया था. नेक्स्ट लास्ट वन.
The prophecy from the stone slates found its way into society, but not many people believed it at first. The fortress of Meropide was nearly flooded with primordial seawater, which we know can cause Fontanians to dissolve. It seems increasingly likely that the prophecy may come true. If we hadn't dealt with it in time, things could have gone very badly.
So बहुत लोग रहते हैं यार फोर्ट्रेस में.
They'll dissolve into the primordial sea but won't cease to exist. Their essence will flow in the seawater, converge, and take the form of an Oceanid. The Hydro Archon was sentenced to death in court, shocking everyone present.
उसको ओरिजिनल सिन की सजा मिली है.
Perhaps this means that her sin was actually Fontaine's original sin. Navia fell into the water inside those ruins, and she nearly dissolved. She was surrounded by the people of Poisson in a court within her consciousness, and was forced to take part in a trial meant to make her stay. The eruption of the primordial sea at the fortress of Meropide was the surest sign that the prophecy was about to come to pass no matter what. The
ये full
prophecy's
picture है, ये full
contents
picture
will
है.
all be verified by recent events.
Yep, that's the truth. Verification complete.
Huh? Oh, Paimon gets it now! So that's how you can make
मैं भी
sense
आ रहा
of
हूँ,
it.
जस्ट सेकंड में भी आ रहा हूँ. I'm back. कोई आया था. कोई क्या, मेरी सिस्टर आई थी. लेट्स कंटिन्यू करते हैं.
But then it feels like
अब फुल प्रोफेसी हमारे
we're going to
सामने
have
है.
to share some truly shocking revelations.
Let's hear them.
The first reveals that one.
Incredible. Linny, did you hear that?
We're not real humans.
All Fontanians were originally created by the late previous Hydro Archon, with Oceanids as their basis. The evidence for that can be found in how only Fontanians could dissolve in primordial seawater.
और अदर
And how all
बाकी
the
लोग
Crochet
डिसॉल्व नहीं होते.
were also turned into Oceanids.
ट्रू फॉर्म.
Oh, and according to Navia, when she was about to get dissolved, she also saw everyone gathered around for a trial. All of them in the shape of Oceanids.
Indeed.
Yeah, and it follows from the context
ये इसका
of
true
the
crime
first
है,
slate
the original
that
sin.
She probably angered Celestia by creating humans without prior permission. That could also explain why the Oratrice judged the Hydro Archon to be guilty. It's to account for that ancient sin.
Okay.
Hydro Archon's true sin was creating us?
Yes.
And yet, after many hundreds of years, the Hydro Archon's creations have turned around to try to judge the Archon within the opera Epiclese. The twists of history are often the most unexpected of all.
Yeah, isn't the image here just like when Navia fell into the sea?
Yep.
So wouldn't it be trying to show the image of the Hydro Archon also falling into the sea once the prophecy has been fulfilled in the fourth slate?
This depicts the fulfillment of prophecy and it's already widely known.
In the end, the people will all be dissolved into the waters, and only the Hydro Archon will remain weeping on her throne. Only then will the sins of the people of Fontaine be washed away.
कोई और तरीका होगा? ऐसा थोड़ी हो सकता है कि पूरा एक रीजन को हम वाइप आउट कर देंगे या गायब हो जाएगा पूरा एक रीजन या उसके लोग पूरा गायब हो जाएंगे.
Did Paimon get all that right?
You've made some keen deductions. I must say, given how much you still don't know, it is impressive that you've already managed to connect so many pieces of the truth.
Thank you, Nuvolet.
However,
Paimon
we
को
were able to decode all the information on the slates.
पाइमन दिन पे दिन
We've
स्मार्ट
also
होती
been
जा रही है.
etched with an additional layer of hidden information using a different power source. When we were at the ruins, I tried to decipher the hidden information recorded in the slates.
अच्छा हाँ, ये कुछ कर रहा था.
But since we only had 3 slates at the time, I was unable to come to a full conclusion. Now that the slate collection is complete, I shall make another attempt to decipher the narrative recorded within. If everything goes well, we should finally be informed of the unadulterated truth.
कुछ हिडन है इसके. अभी कोई हिडन मैसेज है इसमें स्लेट्स में.
I believe I should share this truth not only with you, but with all the people of Fontaine as well. I will try to briefly summarize it for you.
इसने क्या देखा?
Your
ऐसे क्या पता चला?
hypotheses regarding the origin of Fontainians and the sin of the Hydro Archon were both correct. In the Fontaine of old, the previous Hydro Archon sensed the yearning of her Oceanid familiars for life on land.
ओके, तो उसने बस उनकी इच्छा पूरी करी। सेलेस्टिया इतनी पिस्ड ऑफ हो गई इस छोटी सी बात के लिए। हाँ,
The Oceanids were enamored with the beauty and romanticism of human beings, and wishing to have those experiences for themselves, expressed to the Hydro Archon their desire to become of a similar kind. However, even though water as an element is intricately linked with the power of life, the Hydro Archon, as one of the seven, did not possess the authority to create a new form of human life. Not one to give in, she eventually found a way to create permanent humanoid bodies for her familiars by appropriating the power of this planet's primordial sea.
अच्छों से प्राइमोरियल सी का वाटर इस्तेमाल किया इनको ह्यूमन फॉर्म देने के लिए। तो वही सी अब इनको वापस ओसनेट में ट्रांसफॉर्म कर रही है।
She poured primordial seawater into the Oceanids' blood vessels, creating humanoid mimics in the process. But if Fontainians were to ever come into direct contact with water from the primordial sea, the power within their bodies would escape these artificial restraints and return to the sea. As a result, their forms would collapse, and they would be reverted to their original forms as Oceanids. Of course, the Hydro Archon never received permission from the heavenly principles to create a new human race.
Here's the problem.
And thus, the Hydro Archon and all of her creations came to shoulder the original sin of appropriating the power of the primordial sea. That is the true history of how the people of Fontaine first came into being.
So we were all Oceanids before we turned into
बहुत
human
बड़ा
beings?
धक्का है लोगों के लिए यार, ये बहुत बड़ा ट्रूथ है। कैसे झेलेंगे ये लोग?
That's way too much information for me. I think I'm just going to pretend that I never heard a single... Wait, but if that's the truth, we can't let the Hydro Archon be sentenced to death. After all, her only sin was creating us.
हाँ, अब सारा सच सामने आ रहा है। इसने बहुत और हाइड्रो आर्को ने बहुत कुछ सैक्रिफाइस किया है।
This really might be too much information for your regular Fontainian, but it does answer a lot of our...
Alas, your hypothesis regarding the third and fourth stone slates was inaccurate.
हाँ?
The slates' respective positions are, in fact, correct.
So they are in right order.
A key point of the visual on the third slate is how all the individuals depicted in the water are humans rather than Oceanids. They have not been dissolved, which implies that the water depicted in this slate is not water from the primordial sea.
तो क्या है?
The nation of Fontaine is the nation of Hydro, as well as the nation of trials and justice. Instead of being the literal element, the water in the scene symbolizes judgment and justice. You may also recall Navia's experience. When she fell into the sea, her consciousness was surrounded by that of many others who intended to hold a trial to determine her fate.
Yep.
Therefore, the meaning of the third slate is that the people of Fontaine shall try the Hydro Archon at the court of justice.
हम लोग prophecy true कर रहे हैं शायद।
Yes, it refers to our present situation.
यही है present situation जो हम लोग अभी कर रहे हैं।
I think I'm following now. So, what you're saying is, even though we decided to put on this trial to avoid fulfilling the prophecy,
We are fulfilling the prophecy.
in truth, everything we've done has happened exactly as the prophecy foretold. So now, it seems, we're the ones making sure it comes true.
What should we do?
Huh. No matter what, the prophecy will be fulfilled. Is this what it feels like to be a prisoner of fate?
फ्लोरेंट की आवाज में भी एक वो है, डर है, फियर है।
If that's the case, does that mean the scene in the fourth slate will also be fulfilled soon?
Yep.
Traveler, I would like to point out another small fallacy in your deduction about the fourth slate. You probably thought that the eruption of primordial seawater beneath the fortress of Meripede served as the surest sign that the prophecy was about to come to pass. However, I believe that rather than being a sure sign, That eruption could in fact only be a small warning of something far worse to come.
उससे बुरा क्या आने वाला है?
As for the root cause of the catastrophe, I believe you've already encountered it once before.
It could it be? हम encountered कर
This
चुके हैं.
eruption was just a small warning of the things to come. We must find the root cause of the disaster.
ये तीनों सही है, हमें ढूंढना पड़ेगा. फिर चाइल्ड वेल हो सकती है.
It
Yep.
was both dream and
ये वेल है.
If we're
Ye-
talking about a true culprit, that could only be that thing inside the primordial sea, right?
the truth, the original sin, the trial, and the root cause of the disaster.
I got goosebumps right now. पूरी स्टोरी जब लाइन अप हो रही है ना, मेरे को goosebumps आ गए. बहुत ही तगड़ी स्टोरी लिखी है ये. बहुत वेल डिफाइंड स्टोरी है. ओ ये क्या हो रहा है? अर्थक्वेक. भागो सब यहाँ से. ये क्या आ गया? ये लो. द वेल इज हियर. ये न्यूलेट. न्यूलेट रोक रहा है. तो क्या वो स्ट्रांग है इतना? नो नो, उसका बैरियर तोड़ दिया न्यूलेट का वेल ने. मतलब वेल बहुत ज़्यादा स्ट्रांग है. वो ये क्या है? नहीं. चाइल्ड फाउल लेगेसी मोड. ओ माय गॉड, इसके साथ फाइट कर रहा है. ओ नाइस टीम वर्क. पर चाइल्ड से फाइट ही कर रहा था. पहले चाइल्ड को हर किससे फाइट करना है, कुछ अनएक्सपेक्टेड तो था नहीं है. पर बहुत अच्छा कट सीन था यार ये. चाइल्ड, इसकी हालत खराब है यार इसकी तो. क्या इसने क्या बोला कि हमें इसके पास आना है? इसने डाउन नीचे की तरफ इशारा किया. लगता है हम जा रहे हैं वहां पर. वी आर गोइंग देयर.
That was way too close! How did that thing just burst into the opera house? Wait, was that the huge whale you saw in your dream?
It's that wager that it's also one child.
So we've met it at last. I understand very well why it has chosen to make an appearance here.
Because the prophecy is about to come true.
That whale does not belong to Tevat. It is a monster that has traversed the stars, weeping all the while.
Okay. एक मॉन्स्टर है. इस टेवेट की है भी नहीं ये मॉन्स्टर, बाहर से आया है.
It has been greedily consuming the energy from the planet's primordial sea, using it to grow. That is the main cause for the rising sea levels.
तो हम अगर हम इसको खत्म कर दें तो हम इसको बचा सकते हैं. बस हमें इस वेल को मारना पड़ेगा, मेरे को लग रहा है.
And once it has finished consuming all of the energy contained within the sea, its next step
People.
will be...
Consuming the people.
You said that when the Hydro Archon first created Fontanians out of Oceanids, she filled their blood vessels with primordial seawater.
हाँ, तो उसको लोग का भी ब्लड चाहिए.
Precisely. That whale finds the blood of Fontanians nigh impossible to resist.
हाय जिया इंडिया हाय. यप यार, क्या चल रहा है? स्टोरी तो बहुत तगड़ी लिखी गई है यार. वो वेल इनको खाना चाहती है क्योंकि उससे बहुत स्ट्रांग हो रही है. प्राइमोरियल सी वाटर से बने हुए ना ये सब.
Therefore, when it
Fontanians.
left the primordial sea, it decided to make its next stop a packed opera house full of food. Food in the form of Fontanians.
We just barely managed to push it back, right? In that case, won't it come back to target the people again once it's managed to recover?
That is correct. Indeed, it is more accurate to say that we should thank that harbinger for buying us some time. Without him, the whale would have likely come onto land far sooner.
अच्छा, क्योंकि वो चाइल्ड तब से उस वेल के साथ फाइट कर रहा है, इसलिए वो लैंड पे इतनी देर से है. भाई चाइल्ड के लिए एक बार तालिया यार, टैग लिया के लिए. बंदा बहुत ज़्यादा ही स्ट्रांग है यार. एक वेल जो प्राइमोर्डियल सी को कंज्यूम कर रहा है उसका तो फाइट कर रहा है इतनी देर से, तभी उसकी हालत इतनी खराब लग रही थी.
From the way he looked, he must have been fighting the creature for quite a long time.
That battle maniac. We've always known that he had a special connection with that whale, but we definitely didn't expect it to help us out like
उसकी
this.
राइवल निकली. हमें लगा यार उसकी कोई प्रोटेक्टर होगी या कुछ होगी, नहीं तो वो राइवल लेके निकल गया, से फाइट कर रहा है.
Anyway, now that we know that this whale is the actual cause of the disaster,
It is too late.
What do you
It
mean?
had already absorbed too much of the primordial sea's energy before we could notice it. At this point, it has become practically integrated with the sea itself.
मतलब यही प्राइमोर्डियल सी वाटर है अभी, ये वेल.
Even if the entirety of
The
Tibet were
monster.
to be destroyed, it could still survive and swim off towards some other world.
Oh no.
That's not something I will. We've already done everything we can, and we even found the true. We've come so far. You can't just tell me that the last hurdle is some impossible foe. That's
Indeed, that's not how a grand perform.
I'll fight it to the end. No matter what.
चलो भाई.
so the prophecy will be fulfilled no matter what, huh?
ट्रैवलर यहाँ पर है, कुछ ना कुछ तो करेंगे हम लोग.
The prophecy. Yes, what has been
N.
prophesized will be fulfilled. You may view such things as the history of the future.
You couldn't find against fate. But if it's this all about fate,
Just as prophecies are usually only the future as seen from the perspectives of the gods, could things be happening in hidden corners where the gods' gaze does not fall?
yep.
Ultimately, fate shall serve as your only guide, no matter what will happen in Tevat's future. All you need to do is to play your part.
मैं बस अपना रोल प्ले करना है. Could it be that even if the prophecy is complete, there will still be a way to save someone? Did I miss something? A traveler बोल क्यों नहीं रहा अब? Wait, I forgot about Fina. What was that she wanted to say? फुरी ने अभी भी कुछ छुपा के रखी है. ये क्या हो रहा है?
What's happening with the aura trees?
I believe it is preparing to carry out the death sentence.
ये खुद मारेगा हाइड्रो आर्कॉन को, ऑरेट्रीस. अरे भाग वहां से, बैठी हुई है यार ये. रन फुरीना रन.
No, I still need answers.
ये क्या हुआ? ये कहाँ आ गए हम? फुरीना पूरी वाइट में थी. अरे स्टोरी कंटिन्यू करो यार व्यूअर्स. ये इसका कॉस्ट्यूम डिजाइन काफी चेंज लग रहा है. ये कौन है? ये हमारे लिए फुरीन तो नहीं है. फेशियल एक्सप्रेशन वही है, बाल वही है, आवाज ही वो नहीं है.
Sorry. That shocked expression on your face is just too amusing. I couldn't help myself.
You are not Farina. Who are you?
The sweet sound of bewilderment. Marvelous. A sure sign that my attempt to deceive everyone was a resounding success. But to answer your question,
She's Fosalor.
I am Fosalor. You know, the god.
मतलब फुरीना और फोसलोर दो अलग अलग लोग हैं.
Fosalor. Why did you deceive us?
फोसलोर अभी भी जिंदा है वैसे.
Oh, that wasn't my goal, of course. Goodness, no. But I had to fool everyone else too, if I was to stand any chance of deceiving the heavenly principles.
ओके, इसका प्लान था हेवनली प्रिंसिपल को डिसीव करना.
Deceiving the heavenly principles.
It's all because of that pernicious prophecy. Dreadful, wasn't it? Everyone doomed to dissolve. Fontaine condemned to be flooded. One was not amused. In fact, one was positively bemused when that problem was thrust upon me by my dearest predecessor. That's the former Hydro Archon Egeria for the
Okay.
uninitiated. It hardly gets more disastrous than a preordained national catastrophe. Now does it?
या ये काफ़ी ओल्ड है, इसकी बात करने की तरह भी काफ़ी ओल्ड है। मतलब इजीरिया ने इसको इंटरेस्ट किया था फुरीना को, और फुरीना इसकी प्रेडिसेसर थी, फुरीना इसकी सक्सेसर थी इजेरिया की, और ये सब प्लान इसका है। द ओरिजिनल सेकंड ओरिजिनल हाइड्रो आर्कॉन।
She knew full well that the prophecy would surely come to pass. And as one of the seven, she also knew full well that one defies the heavenly principles at one's peril. So
Okay.
yes, as you have no doubt surmised, it was a rather impossible situation that I found myself in. I spent a terribly long time mulling it over, alone on the ocean floor. And I was almost growing barnacles by the time I finally realized there was only one possible solution to this confounding conundrum.
क्या है वो solution?
I had to outwit the heavenly principles, allow the prophecy to be fulfilled, ostensibly at least, while saving everyone at the same time. I'm a genius, I know.
ये सब
I
प्लान
can
कर रही
only
थी।
assume that's why Egeria chose me as her successor. Although, looking back now, it was hardly the inheritance one dreams of. Between the task of saving the nation, the quotidian duties of the Hydro Archon, and not to mention the original sin of creating a new race of humans, I dare say she left me quite a colossal mess to clean up.
Yep.
But one can only play the hand one is dealt. I did not choose this, any more than I chose to be one of her Oceanid familiars.
Okay, familiar थी इसकी।
So you were also once one of the Oceanids,
हाँ,
transformed into a human by Egeria's hand.
Yes, I was. I always dreamed of becoming human. And I still do, even now.
ओ भाई
In
साहब,
my eyes, to be human is to be part of the greatest opera ever known.
मैं नोटिस नहीं किया तलवार उसके सर पे लटक रही है। ये इसका डेथ सेंटेंस है वो सलोर का।
After becoming a god, I separated my divinity from my body and spirit, leaving behind only a self that was as naive and bewildered as my past self on her first day as a human being.
ओके, तो इसने जानबूझ के अपनी बॉडी को दो सेपरेट किया, एक गॉड अलग और ह्यूमन बीइंग अलग। तभी इसको पता है ये बात, मतलब फुरीना को, तभी वो ऐसा गेम खेल रही है हमारे
The
साथ।
me you see before you now is that divinity, and the human counterpart I left behind, I named Farina. She could feel joy, sorrow, and everything in between. She could be as vain and conceited, or as meek and vulnerable as she wished. Her strengths were of a kind only a human could possess, as were her shortcomings.
नॉर्मल ह्यूमन बीइंग है फुरीना।
But in my eyes, Farina's humanity was what made her perfect. She was perfectly human in every way. The person I always wanted to be.
दोनों का सिल्हूट सामने सामने कितना अजीब लग रहा है। The god and the human.
Anyway, so then I cursed her.
अच्छा, कर्स भी इसी ने किया।
All part of the plan, of course. The plan to deceive the heavenly principles. Do you still remember the final scene of the prophecy? The Hydra Archon alone, weeping on her throne. In order that the prophecy might appear fulfilled, I invited Farina to be an actress, to play the part of the Hydro Archon in the prophecy.
She was just acting. फुरीना सिर्फ एक्ट कर रही थी।
Under the curse I placed on her, so long as I, Fosalor's divinity, continued to exist, she could not die.
Okay.
But nor was she free to live her life in the pursuit of happiness.
फुरीना was stuck.
Instead, she was forced to take the stage in the opera house, to embrace the role of leading lady, to forever play the part of the god from the prophecy, all to create a deceitful appearance of that prophecy coming to pass.
फरीना के लिए बहुत हार्ड होगा यार ये.
I suppose now you probably understand why your court is called the Opera Epiclese.
But Farina is only human, isn't she? Even though she has had a long life, her mind is no stronger than that of any other ordinary human being.
उसने बहुत कुछ झेला यार.
I cannot begin to fathom what she has had to endure. It must have been torture for her.
It has indeed. And although she is, in a sense, me in human form, I most definitely owe her an apology for it. It's been 500
500
years.
साल हो गए.
And all along, she's been playing her part in the most unimaginably long, unbearably lonely, and agonizingly painful opera of all time.
मेरे को गूज़बम्स आ रहे इतने मैं स्टोरी सुनते जा रहा हूँ ये. Literally one of the best written story of Genshin right now. अब सब कुछ पता चल रहा है क्यों ये किया गया था. धीरे धीरे अब यही पता चलेगा कि हम कैसे रोकेंगे इसको. ठीक है. वेट कुल दिस बी द फुरीना's इनर वर्ल्ड. अच्छा ये है इनर वर्ल्ड. हम फुरीना की साइड आ गए. चलो फिर लेट्स टॉक टू हर. ओके यहाँ से चढ़ सकते हैं. क्या चल रहा है फरीना?
Who permitted you to come onto the stage? Now, I understand your admiration for my august self, but I
ये अभी भी अपना
must
रोल
ask
प्ले
you
कर
to
रही है.
keep to the rules. All right. It is not my intent to reprimand you. There is no need to state your name. Just be off with you. Do not distract me from my performance. Oh, do not jest. Can you not feel it? I am Focalor. The eyes of countless Fontanians are upon me. I must, at all times, display the utmost elegance and nobility.
Something is off. There's no getting through her. Even in the heart, she's still playing the role of heart. क्योंकि इसने इतनी बार प्ले किया है कि इसके हार्ट में भी यही सब चल रहा है अभी. हमें क्या करना पड़ेगा?
Dear audience, the performance
Okay,
is
we have to
experiencing
fight.
a technical difficulty,
fight
but
करना है.
worry not. The guards shall resolve it soon enough. Right here.
इसको बंद करते हैं.
Hey, what gives? The audience is still watching me, you know. Guards? Wait, where are the guards? Guards! I swear by my sword.
Last one. अच्छा ये सिंबलाइज करते हैं हार्ट ऑफ द आईज ऑफ द पीपल स्पीक हो जाए. द गोल्डन टिकट. अच्छा हमें इसका ट्रू फीलिंग अब दिखाई जाएगी. लेट्स सी. बिफोर अ मिरर फरीना सीन 1. ओके हम रन भी नहीं कर सकते. हमें स्लो वॉक करते हुए मिरर की तरफ जाना है.
Farina.
हौसलर की आवाज है.
Who's that? Who's calling me? Where are you?
Be not nervous. Be not afraid.
हौसलर की आवाज
I
है.
am before you.
Wait a moment. You're mirror me? How can this...
Mirror you, huh? You know what? That's not bad. Let's go with that.
Mirror me? What do you wish to say?
The prophecy. Have you heard of it?
What prophecy? Wait. I know. I think. I don't know why, but it's in my head somehow. The people will all be dissolved into the waters, and only the Hydro Archon will remain, weeping on her throne. Only then will the sins of the people of Fontaine be washed away.
Oh, very good. You know it well.
What's going on? I can't seem to remember anything clearly. The only thing I know for sure is this prophecy. Will it really come to pass?
Yes, it will. And that is why I've come to you. Disaster will come to Fontaine sooner or later. Things will develop just as the prophecy declared. There is no escaping it.
ये इन दोनों की प्लानिंग थी शायद.
But doesn't that mean everyone will die? I'm a Fontainian just like them. Will I dissolve too?
Oh, don't worry. Magical meetings exist in this world precisely to give people a chance to turn things around. It is the reason why you met me today. I will tell you how to save everyone, but you may have to suffer somewhat.
ये इनका फर्स्ट कन्वर्सेशन है क्या?
Oh, so there's still hope after all. Goodness, you frightened me. You spoke so much and with so much certainty. As for the suffering, well, I will admit that the first thing that came to mind was, why do I have to be the one to suffer? But if the prophecy will come true, I'll also die anyway, right? So if I've already met you as my magical meeting, and if there were scales, with all the people of Fontaine on one side, and my pain on the other, is it not obvious where the scales should tilt?
You
She is
truly
good. She
are
is
the
very good.
perfect human.
Hausa,
My
Farina.
ideal.
Farina is pure-hearted.
I suppose this would also be the justice that belongs to you.
Huh?
Don't worry, it's nothing. Listen well. Fontaine has just lost its Hydro Archon. I need you to play a role. That of the new Archon.
Play as a god?
That's right. You must begin a never-ending masquerade. You must never let anyone suspect your identity. If you can keep it up, then I shall have my way of defying this prophecy. But should your identity be revealed, then all hope will be lost.
Okay.
But how will I do this?
तभी Farina ये सब कर रही
A
थी.
human assuming the role of a god without being
Don't worry. What you must do is not to turn yourself into a real god. You simply need to play the role of a god as humans imagine them to be. Being a human yourself, I'm sure you already know what such an... And remember, your true challenge will not be pursuing divinity, but contending against humanity.
इसको बता भी दिए कि तुम्हें ह्यूमैनिटी की तरफ है, तुम्हें डिविनिटी की तरफ नहीं जाना है.
I'm still not sure I understand, but I'll try. So, how long am I going to have
To accomplish this mission, you will have to stay on the stage for many, many years. You will endure and not grow old until your task ends.
Okay, stuck थी इसी लूप में.
But I promise you, all will eventually end in a magnificent and dramatic trial, and everyone will be saved.
सब कुछ प्लानिंग प्लॉटिंग से हो रहा है.
A trial. Huh. How exciting. I'll be looking forward.
500 years लग गए इस ट्रायल को आने में. Ascension speech Farina. Ascension speech Farina scene 2. अब हमें क्या करना है? ओके, अब हमें थ्रोन असेंड करना है. एक एक करके हमें पूरी स्टोरी दिखाई जा रही है. ये हमारा थ्रोन है. हम बहुत स्लोली वॉक कर रहे हैं इस थ्रोन की तरफ. हम थ्रोन पे आ गए. ये वक्त से हमने थ्रोन लिया था.
The Maison Cardinalise has announced my accession, but this is my first time. What should I say to most appear like a god? To be honest, I still don't know. Perhaps I should first try to act natural.
Summon courage.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening, and welcome to the opera epic. I'm sure you've all heard about how I have taken on the role of Hydro Archon. Indeed, I am Farina de Fontaine, your new Archon. In truth, I know little about becoming a nation's new god, but as the god Fosalor, the god of justice, I shall do all within my power to lead you into an age of fairness and justice. Once again, thank you all for coming. If you should have any questions or suggestions, please send them to the Maison Cardinalise. The future of Fontaine will require us to work together after this. I thought I might stammer, but thankfully...
That's the new Hydro Archon. Is this some kind of joke by the Maison? I would have thought that a being that surpasses humanity would be a bit more assertive.
Hey, did you hear that? She even told us to send her suggestions there.
Shouldn't gods be all-powerful? She's being so modest. What's the difference between her and an ordinary person, then?
If you
These are questions लोगों के उस समय के.
didn't actually happen. She might just be a Maison-backed puppet.
Wait, what's going on? Why is everyone... Right, calm down, Farina. Think assertive, with a strong... Now, I was wondering if some weak puppet were to one day come onto the stage and claim ownership of this opera house, would the children of Fontaine follow them? Well, it seems that you would all see right through them. Having passed my test, you are qualified to witness wondrous trials alongside my august self.
As a pleasing ghost तरह present किया अपने आप को. मतलब जब लोगों को शक हुआ तो इसने अपने आप को ये switch कर दिया.
You may consider my previous act a door gift of sorts. I thought it was a debut. That's now then.
Ah, so that was just a performance. How could I have forgotten that we were inside an opera house?
Her personality. It's quite shocking, to be honest, but I suppose it's a better look than before.
Such a fascinating and bold deity. How wonderful. Her future may yet be bright after all.
धीरे सारे जो लोग क्वेश्चन उठा रहे थे दब गए.
It seems I've turned them around. Best follow this flow and restart my accession speech. My dear people, whether you acknowledge me or not, whether you trust me or nay, I say to you, keep faith in your ardor for justice. We have heard it said that this nation's sins can no longer be washed away.
हमें कभी भी earnest नहीं रहना.
Well, I say that justice is most fragrant when it blooms amid sin. The scales of justice should not weigh heavy in the hands of its God. On one side, it must carry fairness and justice. And may law be the prayer on our lips. May judgment be our worship. Let us light the fires and drink to the future of Fontaine. There is no trouble in this world that justice cannot solve. All that is needed is for you, my people, to believe in it, heart and so long as I, the Archon Fosalor, stand within the Opera Epiclese, so long as I stand before the oratrice, I
shall even judge the gods of this world!
ये था पावरफुल परफॉर्मेंस। जब इसने पूरा रोल अपना बना लिया। Now next part, Opera House Furina Scene 3. हमारा डेस्क मतलब फुरीना का डेस्क।
Lady Farina, here are today's case reports as well as a summary of the follow-up.
Come now, was I not just at the Opera House in person? Besides, none of these trials were the one that I'm looking forward to the most.
If I may be so impertinent, what kind of trial are you
A magnificent, dramatic, and wondrous trial. A trial to end all things. How could you hope to understand?
वो इस ट्रायल की बात कर रही है।
That's true, I fear I lack the ability to grasp your divine thought, Lady Archon.
No need for fright, and do not take what I said before too seriously. Go now, do your duties. The trial I await. It will come one day.
5 सालों से ट्रायल का वेट कर रही है फरीना। Let's go to next stage.
Lady Farina, I don't know what to say. Thank you.
No need to thank me. Or rather, thank your own sense of perseverance instead. Long have you stood in line to meet me, have you not? Oh, I'm afraid that's just an inevitable consequence of my divine... All right. Deuteria, is it? How is your son's...
You remembered me, and you knew of my family, too.
Oh, good. Very good. If this should happen again in the future, please do not hesitate to come and tell me. Going down to citizens' homes every so often, while not usual practice, should serve as a fine change of pace.
You're such a gentle and wise god. Thank you once again, on behalf of my son.
पर स्टोरी काफ़ी अच्छी प्लेस्ड है। स्टेप बाय स्टेप में सब कुछ शो किया जा रहा है क्या चल रहा था पूरे टाइम।
Lady Farina, here are the latest hydrological reports. As for the specific parameters you asked to take note of, I'm afraid things still don't look good.
I see. It's as I thought then. As your god, I did already expect this, but I wanted to see how far your human wisdom would allow you. All manner of signs indicate that the prophecy will still come to pass. Forget it. That's not something you need to worry about right now.
Okay.
Well, as I understand it, the Fontaine Research Institute is also trying to find a way to counter the rising water levels.
Really? Have they found...
I'm afraid that they haven't found any effective solution thus far.
Is that so? Well, no wonder. This issue has reached the realm of the gods after all. Still, their spirit is...
चलो फिर next stage. Bed.
The day is finally over. I haven't had a moment to breathe this whole time.
इतनी देर से ये एक्ट 500 years से ये एक्ट कर रही है एज एन आर्कॉन। ना इसके कोई फ्रेंड्स है ना कोई है, इसको बस एक पर्पस दिया है बोसलौर ने कि उसको कंप्लीट करना है इसको लोगों के लिए।
Everything's getting on track. There are no longer any voices of suspicion. Maybe this is fine. I just need to keep going.
सबको बचाने के लिए कितना कुछ इसने उठाया।
All right, Farina, don't think too hard.
Opera House Furina Scene 4.
Lady Farina, here are the new trial reports for the latest cases, as well as a summary of the follow-up.
There'll be no need
for that. I've seen them already. There's no need to go back over scenes I've witnessed in person.
Lady Farina, I've waited so long for this chance to see you.
Indeed, my dear loyal citizen. This
ये अपने रोल में बिजी हो गई एक एक करके.
Lady Farina, we're detecting significant hydrological anomalies near Poisson.
Understood. Keep monitoring. Keep me informed should anything come up at the Institute. I don't think I let anything slip today. I just don't know when these days will end.
ये एंड का वेट कर दी फॉर 500 years. अभी मेरे को समझ नहीं आ रहा यार इसने कैसे किया होगा.
I feel utterly exhausted. Best to rest early today.
Scene 5 Opera House Farina. कितने सीन्स होंगे वैसे ये? 500? 10,000? Same duties, same things over and over again. Same act over and over again. Oh my goodness. Scene 18,000. Scene 1,02,000.
It's like
1,02,000. 1,02,000 almost.
I've heard that the first.
And what a fine family yours is indeed. It brings me great joy to meet such a faithful believer, a descendant of a line most ardent.
Sure.
What is it? Good.
Are you crying?
Really now? I didn't even notice.
People will go mad अगर उनको ये सब करना पड़े 500 सालों तक. सोचो 18,000. Sorry, 1,83,000 times. 1,83,000 day act.
This must
देखो लग ही रहता कोई
overflow of hydro from my person.
कोई नंबर absurd नंबर लिखा है निकल के आएगा.
Quite help being the god whose dominion is the waters.
No wonder. A manifestation of your power, then. Oh, Archon, I am honored to have witnessed it. Honored indeed.
जबकि इसको रोल प्ले भी नहीं करना है. She's stuck.
So interminable.
ये है फाउंटेन की आवाज जो हम रात में सुनते थे.
So lonely. Hundreds of years must have passed by now. Perhaps the show must go on for hundreds more. I never imagined that it would hurt so much. Have I reached my limit? No. Perhaps I reached it long ago. Today I didn't even notice my own tears.
Chills, goosebumps. मेरे को भी इमोशन मतलब स्टोरी हिट कर रही है.
I want to tell someone, anyone about this. But would that not destroy all I've done so far? I've conducted so many investigations across the centuries. But there's not even a sliver of hope.
इसने भी कई साल तक इन्वेस्टिगेशन की अपने साइड से.
All I can do is keep heart. I must maintain this act. It is the only way to save Fontaine. Please, mirror me. You have to succeed.
इसको ओरिजिनल आर्कन का नेम भी नहीं पता. ये सिर्फ फाउंटेन के लोगों के लिए कर रही थी. मतलब ये कितनी अच्छी होगी यार. हार्ट से अपने दिल से. 1,82,376 Opera House Farina and 1,82,736.
Farina, you don't have to shoulder this burden alone, although I don't know.
हमारी वॉइस.
Share, that's impossible. It was fated right from the start that this would be
But even if your burden doesn't need to be shared, just share it with me. I'm what you'd call a witness.
A witness? Yes, I've heard that you came to Tevat from beyond the stars,
हाँ.
yes? In other words, you never and if Tevat is, in its entirety, a show on a stage, then you're just a spectator.
कुछ लोग बस कुछ लोग स्पेक्टेटर्स हैं, उनमें से हम एक है. हम लोग को अब सामने आना चाहिए.
I could confide, but if things don't play out as expected, no, Farina, you But what if, Farina, you've worked so hard for so long. Surely it would be okay to put yourself first for once. Is it such an outrageous thing to do anyway? To find someone in whom you can confide your frustrations and sorrows? Surely it could not hurt. If you let this opportunity slip through your fingers, it might never come by again.
ये सब उसके दिमाग में चल रहा था जब मुझसे बात कर रहे थे.
Think about it long and hard.
स्टेज में आने से पहले.
No, I have nothing to say. I am Farina, the Archon of Fontaine.
ये लोगों के लिए कुछ भी करेगी.
Everything will surely. All you need to do, dear spectator, is to witness my
अब हम इसके सामने.
Fine.
फिर से अकेली.
So even Farina doesn't know the truth? You've never once let her in on the full plan?
Nope. ये प्लान बहुत ही दर्दनाक था उसके लिए. Full of pain. उसके इमोशन सोचो 500 years तक.
Yes, it had to be done. To deceive the heavenly principles, you must first deceive. She did very well. If she had let her resolve falter even once in these 5 centuries, Fontaine would have been doomed
एक
to the
बार भी
most
उसने गलती नहीं करी
tragic
उस लड़की
fate.
ने. प्रिया ने एक बार गलती नहीं करी.
It seems that trusting humanity was the right decision.
I believe that I understand how your deception works, but that is only half the truth. How would you build on this foundation to save the people of Fontaine?
उसके पास कोई ना कोई प्लान जरूर होगा.
Good, good. Of course, the Udex of Fontaine has pinpointed the crux of the issue. I'm sure you've long sensed that the Oratrice is no simple machine.
हाँ, वो क्या है?
I've always suspected that it had its own consciousness. And Lenny did mention that he heard a human voice within the core. It now
यही है क्या?
seems that that person was
यही थी.
hidden within the machine all along.
Okay, she was a machine.
And then I
छुपी हुई थी.
became one with the Oratrice, taking Fontaine's gnosis with me. Yes, it would seem so, wouldn't it? Alas, your understanding of this device still lacks sufficient depth. In truth, it is no enactor of justice. It is, in fact, a device created to kill the god of justice.
इसने अपने आप को मारने के लिए एक डिवाइस बनाया.
Beg your pardon?
What?
Oh, you have it. And to be more precise, not only will the Oratrice take down the god of justice, it will also take down the divine throne upon which she has been placed.
सब कुछ ले लेगा Oratrice, सब कुछ खत्म कर देगा.
I mean, did you think I would be the sort to enjoy peaceful repose while Farina suffered? My work over these last 500 years has been to constantly accumulate indemnitium within the Oratrice. But really, some have already discovered that only a small fraction of the energy generated by the device was ever used to provide power to Fontaine. The vast majority has been, had to be,
पावर इकट्ठा करे थे.
to enact this death sentence.
इतना पावर चाहिए था कि 500 साल लग गए इस डेथ सेंटेंस के लिए.
It was all a part of your plan then.
ये भी
Both the
बहुत सेल्फलेस है
trial
यार.
and the sentence.
इसने अपने आप को मारना ज़्यादा इम्पोर्टेंट समझा, अपने आप को डेथ सेंटेंस दी कि लोगों को बचा सके। यार फोसल और फुरीना दोनों ही मतलब जो भी करे लोगों के लिए कर रहे हैं।
Indeed. This power, accrued over 5 centuries, could have sustained Fontanians for millennia had it only been used for that purpose.
Okay,
Almost
इतना
all of it has
powerful
now
है।
been stored within the oratories. But only power of this magnitude could hope to destroy the Hydro Archon's divine throne, shaking the rules established by Celestia and breaking through the institution that is the Seven.
ये सीधा वार करेगी सेलेस्टिया पे और तोड़ देगी अपना थ्रोन, जैसे जो 7 है 6 रह जाएंगे
So the
मतलब।
Oratrice's call for death was for neither Farina nor Focalor, but for the Hydro Archon.
Yep, she is destined to die.
The
She is not
destruction
destined
of
to
the
die.
divine
इसने
throne.
प्लान किया अपनी डेथ।
If I do not misunderstand your intent, you must be.
Returning what's rightfully yours to you, of course. In other words, this was all done to return the authority of the Hydro Archon to the Hydro Dragon of
इसको
the
सारी
Senate.
अथॉरिटी मिल रही है।
But
Oh, what? Getting
पर
sad
न्यूविलेट
again, are we?
न्यूविलेट एक्सेप्ट नहीं कर पा रहा है कि उसके सैक्रिफाइस करना पड़ रहा है फोसलार को, अपने आप को लोगों को बचाने के लिए।
The authority of the ancient dragons shall soon be yours once more, O Hydro Dragon Sovereign. And this is the face you make.
all you've done throughout the years is just so you can sacrifice yourself at the very end.
Yep. ये इसका प्लान था, इसका अल्टीमेट प्लान फाउंटेन के लोगों को बचाने के लिए, इसका और फ्रीना का।
I've never quite seen it that way, you know.
फ्रीना का तो चलो पता ही
Even
नहीं था,
now, I'm
उसका
quite
अपना रोल था।
pleased at how well my deception worked.
उसकी इसको बिल्कुल भी दुख नहीं है कि ये
Hydro Dragon, don't cry. I must say, had it been within my rights, I would have loved to judge the heavenly principles themselves. Were they not guilty of essentially the same crime?
उन्होंने भी तो कुछ डेवलप किया।
Egeria stole the power of the primordial sea, and the heavenly principles stole the power you ancient dragons possess.
इनका पावर उन्होंने ले लिया था ना।
I, for my part, am the god of justice. And is it not just that your original powers should be returned to you?
ये अपना पूरा काम, पूरा रोल प्ले करेगी।
Speaking of
जब पूरा काम
justice,
पूरा कर रही है।
I have always believed that justice lies in the process of pursuing human existence itself. So, if the theft of the primordial sea's might was Fontaine's original sin, then, leaving matters of procedural right and wrong aside, the descent of the Fontanians as humans and their right to exist in this world would be Fontaine's original justice. In other words, existence was Egeria's justice, and to me, justice is the continuation of that existence. Defying the prophecy and ensuring that Fontaine's people shall live on, that should be the justice enthroned over all others.
इसका प्लान यहाँ कंप्लीट होने वाला
At
है।
this point, we, whether it be myself or all other Fontanians, have shouldered the burden of this sin for far too long. Iudex Neuvillette, the highest judge in our land, when you regain your full power as an elemental sovereign,
ओके, तभी ये कुछ कर सकता है।
what verdict shall you pass upon us?
तब ये कुछ कर सकता है।
So when I was invited to the court of Fontaine to serve as Iudex, I see now that that was your idea too. At last, I now understand the true purpose behind this position.
इस पोजीशन का रियल पर्पस ये था।
In the beginning, I was uninterested in human existence. But these 5 centuries of living alongside them have gradually brought about mutual understanding between us. And I have even attempted to feel as they... You are a devious one, Focalor. Things being as they are, surely you know that I could never declare them to be guilty.
नॉट गिल्टी देगा जब इसको अपनी ट्रू अथॉरिटी मिल जाएगी। बट सेन
The hour of my execution is almost here. For the sinner, the curtain call has come.
कैसे खड़ी आ रही है?
I know I may not sound it, but faced with death, I find myself a little afraid.
Little?
Perhaps this is one thing both gods and humans have in common.
She's very brave.
Farewell, Nervalette. I hope you've enjoyed the part you played these 500 years.
रीना भी डांस कर रही है यहाँ पर। दोनों सेम है, तो तलवार फोसलार के ऊपर है। That depicts the death. मेरे को भी बहुत अजीब लग रहा है यार, मेरे आँख से आंसू आ गए। इसकी ट्रू अथॉरिटी दे दी इसने। Everything for the people. इसने अपना रोल अच्छा प्ले किया। Her role is done. Thank you, Farina. From this moment on, please live happily as a human. Just as I wish we could. अब फरीना एक नॉर्मल ह्यूमन हो गई है, कर्स हट गया उसके ऊपर से। वो
hereby declare, people of Fontaine, your sins are forgiven.
This is the authority of a dragon. Overruled. इसने heavenly principles को overruled कर दिया। बहुत ही सस्पेंसफुल और बहुत ही ड्रामेटिक और इमोशन हिटिंग करने वाली स्टोरी थी है।
What just happened?
Was that bright light some sort of misdirection?
No, इन लोगों को पता भी नहीं चला।
We're all still alive and have.
It's time to end this. We must mete out punishment to that beast.
Didn't you say just a moment ago that it can't be defeated?
I have gained the strength sufficient to deal with it. Through certain means, I now have the ability to separate the power of the primordial sea from that creature.
Because he is now the true dragon.
We should seize the opportunity to pursue our quarry.
You obtained power.
Traveler, now that the oratories can no longer function, I require an executor to help me mete out justice. The root of the collapse. Come with me, traveler. The hour of execution has come.
लोग के हम जा रहे हैं अब इस वेल से पंगा लेने के लिए, सब कुछ होने के बाद। ये कौन था इसके पास खड़ा? कौन था? हम लोग थे क्या? वो प्लीज़ ये मज़ा है कि मैं शिंगचो लेकर आया हूँ या एटलीस्ट हमें पार्टी तो कॉन्फ़िगर करने का मौका देते। कैसे फाइट करेंगे हम शिंगचो के साथ?
Done my best to separate the power.
Okay, हम हाइड्रो से हिट कर सकते, चलो नो प्रॉब्लम।
I cannot reach the power source unless we can find a way to attack it from within. I shall share a part of the finished dragon's power with you. We shall look for an opening together. hostility.
I'm always watching. Emerge right now.
ओके हमें इसको अटैक करना काफ़ी बीफी एनिमी.
The all-devouring narwhal cannot resist its instinct.
नॉल नाम है, नॉर्वल नाम है इसका.
Continue to trigger its hostility.
ओके ये आ गया, यहाँ से आ गया. चल क्या रहा है, चल क्या रहा है ये हम कहाँ गए? नार्वल के अंदर. ये कौन है? इसके अंदर का सेल्फ है क्या? हमें कोई और टीम लेके आनी चाहिए थी.
I have granted you my protection. Do not fear. Seize the moment and use my power to suppress its root from within.
कैसे?
Rain outlines your fate. Time to shine. Right here. Right now. Let me weave you a verse.
Let's go, let's go. काफी बफ डैर एनिमी. एक तो हाइड्रो एक्टर्स है. ये क्या हुआ? हमने बर्स्ट किया तभी. डिफीटेड. न्यूविलेट क्या करने वाला है? इसको अलग करेगा न्यूविलेट. ये क्या हुआ? बॉल बना दिया. पर ये न्यूविलेट है नहीं क्या, मेरे को लग रहा है. ओके ये ट्रेलर में दिखाया गया था हमें. कर के शायद ये. ओह चाइल्ड को भी अंदर फेंक दिया. She is
Thanks
Kirk.
for helping with the cleanup. It should have been my job, but oh well. It was just supposed to be a short private training session for me. I didn't think that my disciple and my master's pet would start brawling in the meantime.
ओके ये इसका डिसाइपल है. चाइल्ड. और ये इसकी मास्टर्स का पेट है. ये वेली मास्टर कौन है इसकी?
Actually, I had a feeling that it would happen at some point, but they bumped into one another earlier than I thought. What a blunder. I suppose I'll have to swing my sword 3 million times as penance.
इसका कैरेक्टर काफी आउट ऑफ गेंशिन लग रहा है. बहुत अच्छा डिजाइन है इसका.
That power. Who are you exactly?
Paimon has an idea. From what she said earlier, she must be Child's master.
Skirk.
Skirk, right? It's just that he gave us the impression that she was less talkative person.
I simply did not have anything to say to the weak. But you, on the other hand, managed to defeat the all-devouring narwhal without using power from beyond this world.
Because हम दूसरे वर्ल्ड से हैं.
So you may speak to me as equals. I have to agree. It's a strange use of a planet's primordial waters just to raise an all-devouring narwhal. That kind of power is wasted on it. It's not cooperative. It eats too much. And I have more important things to do with my time than pet sitting. The only thing that creature has going for it is its looks.
Looks?
All in all, it fails as a pet.
Miss Skirk? I think you might have missed...
The point being?
Well, being that this pet almost destroyed an entire nation. So what sort of person is your master? Well,
इसके पैर कैसे हैं?
Master.
Oh, right. So you don't know him. Sorry, I assumed you did. His name is Sir Taloji.
Who?
I am unfamiliar.
Huh. So Master isn't sufficiently famous. How should I describe him then? Have you heard of the name The Fowl?
The Fowl?
Still nothing? Well, how...
Radiant. हाँ. Granddaughter.
Circle. She's Albedo's mom, right?
Yep. Granddaughter हमने सुना है.
Oh, so you do know that name. To be honest, I also heard all of those names and titles from my master. I don't actually know them either. But I suppose you understand now, yes? My master is likely a similar sort to Rhindaughter. They are both pursuing some form of perfection.
Wait! Didn't you also mention a visionary person? Paimon didn't quite catch their name.
Actually, never mind that.
Okay,
I
हमें और permission नहीं मिलेगी.
inform you that the all-devouring narwhal used up nearly all its strength fighting you. Such roiling hydro energies will prove difficult for the planet's deep seas to digest. As such, the fontaine back on the surface has most likely been thrown into chaos. In other words, the prophecy that you've been fretting over should now be in full swing.
What?
Yes, let's be separate about part. No.
Not to worry. Focalor has already managed to deceive the heavenly principle.
Yep.
In the end, the people will all be dissolved into the waters, and only Farina will remain, weeping on her throne.
वो पानी भर गया है पूरी तरीके से. सब डूब गया. सब लोग कहाँ हैं पर?
Then will the sins of the people of Fontaine be washed away.
अभी पानी भरा पड़ा है. सब लोग कहाँ हैं? लोग अभी भी जिंदा है. नाव्या सबको रेस्क्यू कर रही है. ओके, सारे लोग बाहर आ रहे हैं. ये क्या है? बोट? अरे ये वही है जो राइट्सली अपने बेसमेंट में तैयार कर रहा था लोगों के प्रोटेक्शन के लिए.
All hands initiate emergency rescue.
और राइट्सली मैंने बाकी सब कहाँ है? फ्रामने भी अपना काम कर रहा है, बचा रहा है लगता है लोगों को. लिनेट, लिनी,
Look, the water's receding.
People did not turn. Farina और फोसलौर ने अपना काम किया. न्यूवलेट ने as Udex.
The prophecy was wrong.
सब ने अपना रोल प्ले किया और फाइनली द प्रोफेसी वाज रॉन्ग. Farina बहुत खुश होगी. Now Farina can be free.
was wrong.
What a cutscene. बहुत ही तगड़ी स्टोरी थी यार। जिसने भी लिखा था बहुत सोच समझ के लिखा होगा। मैं सोच रहा हूँ राइटर्स ने क्या दिमाग लगाया होगा इतना अच्छा स्टोरी लिखने के लिए। मतलब हम सोच भी सकते नहीं थे स्टोरी इतना फुल सर्कल आएगी और हमें इतना सेक्रीफाइस से भरी होगी ये कहानी। लिटरली किसी की डेथ भी हुई है। वी जस्ट सी गॉड्स डेथ। फॉसलर का डेथ देखा हमने।
The soil renewed. The Spina Rasula talks post-disaster rebuilding. I recently visited Poisson to meet with Miss Navia, spokesperson of the Spina Rasula, and we spoke about Poisson's old soil can still give birth to new bloom, Miss Navia stated. Hope is like seeing a small cookie when you're starving late at night. You just need a little skyship winglet, lunar brain of the Fontaine Research Institute.
क्या क्या स्काईशिप है?
The various
उड़ सकता है पहली बात है।
arisen on account of Mr. Edwin have suddenly become a shield over the Institute, with Jurier turning out to be a once overlooked hidden gem. People always call the first researcher mad, but few know what to call the second. And should that latter person achieve a miracle, they would find it all the harder to find a word with which to Wow! Paimon barely recognizes the people in the reports. Are those really Jurier and Navia? They sound like real big shots.
What do you think? Pretty enthralling, huh? The Steambird's idea was pretty simple. With the disaster just having passed, we would print a free edition packed to the margins with good news to calm people down. The value for these big scoops lies in their inevitable follow-ups. We'll publish further reports and go into the stories behind those people. Edwin's assistant, Jurier, created a true flying ship, while Navia is leading people in the reconstruction of their home. I'm sure that these stories could draw even your
Positive
well-traveled
stories
eye.
है ना?
Paimon's curious too! Wait a minute. Didn't we watch everything happen from start to finish? What's there to be curious about?
क्योंकि हमें कैचअप करवाना है।
And that's exactly why I'd like you to come conduct interviews with me. You're the best incubators of news, if you haven't noticed. And also, with you around, I'm sure I'll get to see that Duke.
Are you sure? Hasn't he turned you down several times already?
Oh, this time will be different. Come on, let's head to Poisson first, and then make a trip to the fortress.
चलो फिर पसंद चलो पहले। भाई सब कितने सारे क्वेस्ट किए हमने। कमीशंस भी नहीं किए थे। सही में 4 घंटे का क्वेस्ट था ये आसपास। डेली सेलेक्ट कर लेते हैं। मेरा रेज़न भी कैप हो चुका है। ये थी फोसलोर की फुल स्टोरी। अभी बाकी है वैसे।
Thank you for Add Astro.
इसका मैसेज वैसे तो नहीं आया। नहीं अभी तो नहीं। अच्छा हमारे पास ऑलरेडी कंटेंट्स काफ़ी ज़्यादा हो चुके हैं। कॉन्स्टलेशन चलो फाइनली द नेक्स्ट लास्ट पार्ट होगा जहाँ तक मेरे को लग रहा है ख़त्म ही होने वाला होगा। नाव्या से मिलने आया ना यहाँ पर। नाव्या मिलेगी हमें। ये कौन है? फैक्ट्री मेंबर लग रहा है।
Oh, it's you.
Hey, we're just having a look around.
I'm here to update myself on how things are going here.
Let me introduce you. This is
Cartoon ने इस बार
Mr.
अच्छा काम किया।
Gorostechevich. He represented the name. Our residents are hard at work as well. Thanks to everyone, work is progressing nicely. We've lost a lot of people. But
वो लोग वापस
we're
नहीं आ
moving
पाए ना,
forward.
जो ऑलरेडी लॉ हम लोग
That will have to be
जो
enough.
चले गए, तो उनको भी क्या नार्मल ने डिवार कर लिया होगा, जो लोग ऑलरेडी प्राइमोरियल वाटर में चले गए थे।
Hello, Miss Charlotte. I'm a big fan of yours. I especially like that article you wrote last year about Fontaine's stray cats. But if you don't mind, could you not emphasize our role too much in your report? It's not charity we're doing here. We just happen to share the same interests as the Spina.
इनको अपना क्या नाम है वो वाला स्टीरियोटाइप रोल का इमेज खराब नहीं करनी है।
I get where you're coming
डिबेट
from.
में
I'll keep it as simple as possible. Or would you be willing to feature as...
That would be fine.
Oh, you're back too. How are things?
We finished laying down the construction materials. It'll be enough.
Huh? You're here too, Clorand?
Well, her reputation's greatly risen after that whole duel business with Miss Farina. So she's here in Poisson to wait out the heat. All right. She really came here to help me out.
There's too much to consider in the reconstruction of Poisson. The Spina has
यहाँ
needed
की हालत
more
खराब है
decision
ऐसे।
makers. And, well, I do already happen to be connected to Mr. Callis.
Oh, wait just a moment. Do you mind me asking a few questions? You know, about how you felt before the duel. About what it was like...
Forget it. I'm sure you can find a better theme than that.
I see you're the same as always. Couldn't you do me a favor, for Navia's sake?
Well, if we're talking about doing things for my sake, you might as well just take a few more photos of me. Or of the Traveler. It's better than wasting time persuading Clorand at any...
Of course I will. I'm not gonna let him off that easy. All right, then everyone who wants to be in the photo, gather up.
हम लोग पॉपुलर होने वाले फिर से।
How did it go? Was it a good shot?
Not bad. Your addition really helped the composition of the picture. All right, hang on a moment. Let me snap a few more All right, that should do it. I'll be back here later anyway, so let's call it a day.
You're very quick.
Speed is of the essence when it comes to... Also, not to brag, but I'm pretty good at building connections. Who knows? I might eventually get that interview with you.
Wow, you really do have that never...
I'll hazard a guess that this is how you got that interview at the Fortress of Meripede.
इसको मिल गया?
Whoa, you're well informed. Let me make a guess too. I asked Sijuin, who told Monsieur Nervillette, and he told you, right?
That's a very complete information chain.
In truth, all Monsieur Nervillette asked me was, when did the fortress become so friendly towards the media? I told him that it was best not to speak too soon. There's no guarantee that Ridesley will make a personal appearance.
हाँ ये बात भी है।
You're right. I've got to treasure every moment I have with them. In which case, I'll be making a...
Stay safe now. And tell me if you hear anything interesting. I'll treat you to afternoon tea and...
बाकी लोग कहाँ हैं? चलो फिर फोर्ट्रेस जाके देखते हैं वहाँ क्या चल रहा है। यहाँ सब कुछ सही लग रहा है। शार्लेट के साथ आया हम यहाँ पर।
Wow, guess we're here again, huh? There's a real nostalgia.
Looks like you've been missing us.
Ridesley.
Did you come all the...
Of course. I'm here to welcome you and our dear Miss Charlotte, whom our good head nurse...
It's an honor to finally meet the much-rumored Duke.
No need to thank me. But that said, I shouldn't be the focus of your interview. I trust you recall our agreement?
Of course, of course.
All right then, this way.
इंटरव्यू करने किस बात के लिए? फोर्ट्रेस के लिए। अच्छा, इन दोनों की पिक्चर्स खरीद ली है। इन्होंने शिप मेंटेन की है ना, शिप बनाई है।
Hey, no need to be so nervous. I've already taken all the photos we need. Miss Charlotte.
It would seem that Miss Lorvine doesn't want her face to appear beside that of Mr. Jurier.
Sir, please don't say
But it looks like dear Mr. Jurier denies it. Might this interview be very important?
No, I just... This is my first
इन दोनों का
time
अभी तक
being
सेम चल रहा
interviewed,
है।
and I'm very thankful.
Now, I might not look it, but I actually did meet Mr. Edwin once. And I'll be honest, I enjoyed chatting with you more. You've definitely got more of that. The boat that brought about a miracle. The ark that saved the people. Why, you recreated a myth back there, like an emissary of light. Still, if I might ask, where's that...
Looks like Charlotte's trying to get herself another...
I have to apologize, but that ship is presently in the bowels of our factory. I'm afraid it won't be easy for...
Really? Well, then in that case, could I have an interview with you to make up...
You already know my answer, I'm afraid. Best you interview our head nurse instead. Or perhaps you'd like to take another photo of this couple of researchers?
Did you really have to use the word couple? Well, then, 2 solo photos will...
Is my hair messed up? Please, someone help me have a look.
Things sure are getting pretty lively here. Oh,
Siege
seems like
Queen.
everyone's here. Would any of you like to try this?
Ah, Siege Queen.
Hey, Miss Charlotte. Sure. Come on.
Sure. Do I have to smile? So, how have things been at the
Same old, as you can see. Fontaine's undergone some changes, but this place is still more or less the same.
ये तो बिल्कुल
Other
सेम
than
है।
that flying ship, it got a tad too much attention.
That's why I decided to let the interview go through. We should direct more public opinions toward the behind-the-scenes heroes. Am I right, Mr. Jurier? Miss Lorvine?
You're too kind, sir. I believe that you too should have your day in the sun. Not that you would want that, which is a pity.
इसको अंदर रहना पसंद है। इंट्रोवर्ट है बहुत बड़ा।
I'll just leave the spotlight to you. I see. Lots of things happened that day, huh? Anyway, regarding that Harbinger, I'm not sure you remember, but his 3 young followers are still waiting for his return.
He sure did win them over, huh?
I'll tell them that there's good news and bad news. The good being that their boss seems fine, and the bad being that they must face extended sentences for abetting his escape.
Oh, actually, what about...
What change can there be? The fortress will keep chugging along, and so will my duties. As to what Miss Farina's departure will mean for the nation, and if our laws and governance will be transformed, we'll leave those to the folks in the overworld.
Hey, everyone. The photo shoot's done.
चलो फिर यहाँ से। We have to continue.
In that case, let's call it a day.
Thanks for your cooperation. Come on, traveler, let's go. Till next...
There'll be a next time?
Maybe. Who knows? I might write a story about the All right. Last stop, the docks.
डॉक्स पे जा रहे हैं हम। यहाँ क्या करना है? यहाँ पे कौन होगा? चलो बाकी सब समझ आते हैं। यहाँ पर तो स्टार्ट किया था हमने। न्यूविलेट, यहाँ में न्यूविलेट मिल सकता है, पर न्यूविलेट यहाँ क्या कर रहा होगा? लेट्स सी। नीचे जाना है। कौन हमारा वेट कर रहा है वहाँ पे? लिनी लिनेट ऑफ रेमने है शायद। लिनी और लिनेट है बस। नहीं, फ्रेमने भी है। ये रहा छोटा सा, दिखता नहीं है।
Navia mentioned that she stayed in touch with Linny and the others after working together.
Traveler, Paimon. Ah, and Miss Charlotte, too.
Would you like a magic pocket? What sort of gadget is it? It's a wondrous bag that can be used to carry many things. The water level has returned to normal, but if you see any of your things floating around, you can use this to carry them. Or you could trick a friend into doing it for you. Trick a friend? I would...
हमारी तरफ मत देखो।
You could just make a friend like Fremine here. Isn't that right, Fremine?
Is this what you meant by I'll help you make some more.
To be honest, that sounds pretty sweet. Could I have
You
sure are working hard to help Fremine socialize.
He was the one who proposed doing this. He even wants to assist in our magic shows.
Yes, I was planning to first introduce Per as an assistant, and later Fremine himself. In the future, I think we can leave underwater escape magic to him too.
That said, would anyone want to see a diver escape underwater?
Oh, it'll work out. Every journey begins with the first step. He'll become a part of our...
Lynette, could you come over?
Got it.
My, that Charlotte is rather perceptive. She got rid of everyone the moment she realized I had something to say to you. Father says that you did a great deal during the latest events. She's very great.
That's all right. We were more than happy to help.
Oh,
Nave
I
है
guess
कहाँ
you
वैसे?
haven't heard. After Lady Farina left, Father and Monsieur Nervillet opened negotiations, during which he gave Fontaine's gnosis to her as a diplomatic
What?
gift.
चल नेव ने अच्छा काम किया, उसने दे दिया तो क्या कर सकते हैं। नेव ने भी बहुत हेल्प करी इस बार तो नोसिस दे देना।
A diplomatic gift? A gnosis?
मेरा सेम रिएक्शन था।
Yes, I was quite surprised at first myself. But when I thought it over, there were actually a number of things. It could have been done as an apology for the incident with Lord Child, or as thanks for his help in tying the all-devouring. Furthermore, Father did also lend significant aid to Fontaine and
That's true, but this is a gnosis we're
पाला तो उसमें कोई डिविनिटी होनी चाहिए नहीं।
I would agree, but I've also heard that it seems that Monsieur Nervillet has had a significant change of heart regarding.
So there's some reason for this that...
I suspect you'll have to ask him about that yourself. Ah, yes, speaking of which,
चलो फिर।
But back to the topic. The gnosis was given to the knave, right? What about...
They say that he's returned to Snezhnaya to recover from his wounds. I hear that the recent disaster really did a number on his health.
Well, I guess I can now call him one of my war buddies.
That's true. When you think about it, we've had loads of run-ins with the Fatui.
सबसे ज़्यादा तो हम रनिंग निश्चित करते हैं चाइल्ड के साथ।
So shocked by such a simple switching of sides?
The knave, finally, she's here.
Father.
इसको father क्यों बोलते हैं?
Well, well, what do you know? Come to the docks to see how my children are doing and meet the traveler by chance. Please do not pay my accomplishments in Fontaine too much mind.
Are you going to take the gnosis back?
That is our duty as
दिखाओ दे नोसिस दिखता कैसा है?
Don't be too preoccupied with sides. The goal of the Fatui concerns not a single place or person, but the entire world. With such a grand goal in mind, it is inevitable that we must wear switching my masks is something I've always done.
Will you keep to your position?
Well, that depends on many things. No one truly knows what the future holds. What good is honesty if you can't rely on it? As for you, I very much look forward to our next collaboration. Good things cannot be achieved
smart थी वैसे
alone,
नेव सबसे
and you've proved yourselves to be great partners.
नेव was the smartest Fatui because उसने कोशिश भी नहीं करी हमसे पंगा लेने की, उसने सीधा हमारी हेल्प करी और प्लीज़ किया उसको वहाँ पर जाके और हेल्प करी और उसको ऑटोमेटिकली नोसिस मिल गया। प्लीज अच्छा हम लोग दे रहे हैं, फाइनली वापस दे रहे हैं।
A vision. All right. I'll remember to return it. Thank you for
And that's a wrap for me. Huh?
ओ लो इसको एक और टारगेट मिल गया।
Greetings, Miss Journalist.
Hello. If I'm not mistaken, there are...
That is correct. So forgive me, but I will not be able to serve as a subject in your article. However, feel free to write as much as you'd like about our dear magicians.
I will.
The sea breeze is quite pleasant. I shall continue my walk while the weather remains so agreeable.
Farewell, Father.
Oh, she has such an intimidating presence. I didn't even dare to take a picture. Thankfully, I've already wrapped up all my pre-scheduled interviews.
Don't be too nervous. Why don't you take a magic pocket before you go? Here, traveler, Paimon, you take...
To move things about?
That's right. Funny. I was giving out magic pockets when we first met, too. And
फुल
What do
सर्कल
you
आ गए हम
know?
स्टोरी में.
I'm doing the exact same thing right now. I guess this must be life. We will all follow our own. All right then.
Well, guess we said Charlotte, huh?
चलो फिर. चलो फिर यहाँ से चलते हैं. अपेरा. मैं कभी भी इसका नाम प्रोनाउंस क्यों नहीं कर पाऊंगा यार. एक्लिप्स बोलता हूँ यूजुअली मैं ज़्यादातर. अपेरा एक्लिप्स. पर इसका नाम कुछ और है. जो लास्ट क्राइंग की आवाज़ थी फ्रीना की थी यहाँ पर है ना. अब हमें पता चला कि रो क्यों रही थी वो. फाइनली इतने दिन बाद. लेट्स गो. न्यूविलेट कहाँ पर हो तुम? Where are you, न्यूविलेट? अच्छा फोर्ट्रेस के एंट्रेंस सामने खड़ा था. कर क्या रहा है वहाँ पर ये? लगता है एंड की तरफ आया. स्टोरी के एंड करने वाले हम.
Really? Oh, I suppose you must have met Mr. Linney. He took the time. In any case, you came at a good time. I was just considering reaching
शायद हमें
out to
आंसर्स
you to
मिलने
set up
वाले
a
हैं कुछ.
meeting, so I may explain.
बिकॉज फ्रीना का तो कोई आंसर्स नहीं होंगे मुझे नहीं लगता क्योंकि उसको कुछ भी नहीं पता.
It is strange how words can often leave.
अब हमें इसकी सारी स्टोरी बता दी न्यूविलेट ने. Also received the heavenly prison they used Frina endless performance to save Fontaine.
Whoa. So that's what happened?
I only saw Frina's part myself.
Lord destroyed the divine throne of the Hydro Archon and restored your power to you, transforming you into a fully fledged elemental dragon sovereign.
Now he is a dragon, fully fledged elemental dragon sovereign. मतलब बहुत powerful होगा ये.
Still doesn't quite get what you did to save the Fontanians from dissolving.
For me,
इसने verdict दिया.
the ancient dragons refers to absolute control over the hydro element. Fontanians were incomplete humans born of Egeria's use of the power of the primordial sea, with constitutions similar to that of. But so long as those primordial energies remain within them, I could use the ancient dragon's authority to grant
इतना
them
powerful है न्यूविलेट अभी.
after the fashion in which life was first brought into being on this planet. In other words, when I gave my verdict, Fontanians became true humans, and thus would naturally no longer be dissolved by water from the
अच्छा हम लोग कोई खतरा नहीं है.
Fossilor must have counted on you to make that decision as well. Your verdict was the key to making the prophecy appear to have come true while saving everyone.
That the fundamental has truly.
Yeah.
हाँ आज ये लोग पैदा हुए हैं.
Speaking, Fossilor finally managed to fulfill the original Hydro Archon's wish to turn Oceanids into real people too.
It seems from your expressions that you still have more things you wish to ask.
हाँ वो हमें पता चलेगा कि हमें क्या पूछना है.
Ask away. I will tell you the truth as I know it.
About the initial verdicts passed on child
I have investigated his case along many avenues, and I have learned that he once fell into an unknown chasm when he was young.
हाँ.
There, by chance, he awakened the all-devouring narwhal.
अच्छा उसने awaken किया
Whether
था.
it be by sentiment or reason, that should not have been enough to consider him the root cause of the disaster. At most, he would have had tangential liability. As for the judgment passed by the Oratree stirring, whether it was due to that liability by association or Fossilor deliberately using him to buy time for us on the assumption that he would be able to hold the creature off,
दोनों में से कुछ भी हो सकता है.
say.
Guess Fossilor had Fontanians in mind the whole time. In the end, it was thanks to her that they finally became real human. Hang on a second. Climax, back when Fontanians hadn't yet become real humans, were the children they had also transformed?
life has always flowed like water. Do you recall how Fontanians would often come to the Fountain of Lucine to pray for children?
Yeah, Lynette said the fountain is where all the waters in Fontaine.
In truth, even those couples did not know that such prayers were no mere custom, but instead a form of ritual.
Acha.
Those Oceanids who were blessed within the spring water would later descend as new humans in the coming months.
Paimon sorta gets it now. Either way, seems like this ritual won't be of any further use, but it'll probably live on as a local custom.
इनको रिचुअल करना पड़ता है बच्चों के लिए, पर अब तो नहीं करना पड़ेगा क्योंकि फुल फ्लेज ह्यूमन बन चुके हैं. About Fontaine's future.
Yeah, about that. Risley said Farina has already left. What's that all about?
Ah, Lady Farina. The people are only aware that her death sentence has not been carried out. She abdicated the post of Hydro Archon and left affairs related to that title to me before leaving the Opera House. I related Focalor's words to her faithfully and completely. After hearing them, she seemed neither saddened nor comforted. She simply said that she was tired and needed to rest.
सही में यार, ये उसके लिए बहुत ज़रूरी है रेस्ट. जो उसने फेस किया शायद ही किसी नॉर्मल ह्यूमन ने फेस किया होगा.
Having said that, she then packed her things and moved out of the Opera House, not unlike how an ordinary person might.
But she's still...
You need not worry. I will make arrangements to ensure that she will not want for food, clothing, board, or travel. In truth, I am somewhat happy for her.
अब वो अपना टाइम ले सकती है, घूम सकती है.
Spirit will of course take time to heal. But now that she no longer
She's
has
free.
to play the role of Focalor the Hydro Archon, she can finally lay down her burdens.
What about you then? What are your plans now that you've regained your full powers as the...
After Focalor passed on, the Oratrice also ceased to... This matter will directly affect our trials. After much careful consideration, I've decided to take over its role in our courts. From now on, I shall hear cases and pass verdict.
Looks like you're still considering stuff from the perspective of...
As an elemental dragon, there are indeed many things that I must do. But this power and this duty, in a manner of speaking, you could say that both were granted. As such, before I attend to my other responsibilities, I must first and foremost continue to serve Fontaine as its highest judge. The duty of the Hydro Sovereign and the duty of the Eudex shall coexist.
ये most important percent है, जैसे हमेशा था वैसे most important percent. Fontaine का really अब ये most important percent है Fontaine का.
Additionally, the Hydro Archon's
आँखों की जगह ली है
brought
इसने.
about another problem, which is that the Opera House shall no longer produce indemnitium.
Power.
That power was derived from the people's faith in the Hydro Archon. Wait, but the various mechs and machines in the city...
As I am now, I have full command over New Musia, and it can serve as a complete substitute. Another reason why I cannot quite...
अच्छा, ये अपने पावर से उनको पावर कर रहा है.
Wow. This ancient dragon's authority stuff...
Ask away. I will tell you the truth as I know it.
Child realm हो गई, Fontaine's future हो गई, Gnosis.
Oh, that's right! They say you've given it to the knave as a diplomatic gift or...
Leaving aside their intentionality, the two 4.2 Harbingers have indeed done much for us during... Their sole remaining goal in Fontaine, at least at this point, would seem to be the Oratrice has ceased to function. The Hydro Archon's divine throne is now no more, and I do not need the Gnosis. As such, it has lost all meaning for Fontaine.
Achha.
If the 4.2 have impure designs, then we might as well accede to their request now, and avoid unnecessary...
What complicated considerations? Paimon thought you were just giving it to them out of gratitude to the knave and as an apology...
Ask away. I will tell you the truth as I know it.
About the next of our journey, ये बहुत important है.
You will soon be heading to Natlan, I presume. I'm afraid that I have little talent as a travel guide, so all I can do is tell you what I... As far as I'm aware, Natlan can be said to be a nation of dragons.
कितने dragons हैं वहाँ?
A nation of dragons?
No, I suspect that I would not find myself welcome there.
क्यों?
Unlike ancient dragons such as
अच्छा, ये
myself,
ancient है.
the dragons of Natlan have undergone long years of development and evolution. Large numbers of them have entered a form of coexistence with humanity.
मतलब ये वहाँ पर हमें humans और dragon एक साथ coexist करते दिखाएंगे, हो सकता है human form में. Oh, interesting. Natlan काफी interesting होने वाला है.
Natlan is also the nation of war. War ravages those lands like an undying flame. There is one other piece of information I got incidentally from my negotiations with the knave that I believe may be useful.
क्या है?
The harbinger known as the captain has thrown his hat into the endless ring of war.
Okay, the captain is fighting the war.
Sounds like a real tough customer. Seriously, everywhere you look, there's a 4.2 Harbinger.
I suggest that you fully prepare yourself before going to Natlan. In the meantime,
Natlan will be tough. मेरे को लग रहा है कि हमेशा war होने वाली है वहाँ पर.
Ask away. I will tell you the truth as I know it.
चाइल्ड के बारे में पूछ लिया, फाउंटेन्स फ्यूचर के बारे में पूछ लिया, नोस के बारे में पूछ लिया.
Hang on a sec. Paimon still got it. When we spoke to Linny earlier, he mentioned that your attitude towards giving away the Gnosis had clearly changed. We guessed that there might be some reason.
No wonder the House of the Hearth is the Fatui's intelligence division. So regarding this specific issue, I was just getting... In truth, I exchanged some further words with that lady named Skirk after sending you two back to the surface. It went something like this.
Okay, अब हमें पता चलेगा क्या बात हुई है इन दोनों में. बताओ भाई.
Well, we're going to head topside to see what's going on.
What next?
The all-devouring narwhal isn't here, so I'm no longer getting any interference. I can finally catch the scent of your power, what it's made of.
Okay, इसको finally पता चलेगा कौन
It is
किससे
the
बात है.
authority of the planet's primordial dragons, but with something very similar to a god's curse mixed in. It's quite a novel. I'm sure I've encountered something like this before.
I do not know what you speak.
Of course. How could I forget? You should have the remains of the third descender on your person, yes?
Remains? Third descendant. बाहर जो बंदा आया था उसके remains.
Remains? I've never heard of any such.
According to your parlance, I believe it may be called a gnosis.
Well, that much is true. After Focalor's divinity
उसके
faded, she
remains से
handed
बनाई
the
है.
gnosis to me. But I fear I have never heard of it described in the manner...
I've been training with my master, the Fowl, ever since I was young, and I have never returned to the surface since. So most of the information I possess, it is only natural for those who are greater than humanity to possess a different sort of common sense, which is why there are so many problems in our attempts to communicate with. Regardless, you should probably get rid of objects of misfortune, to prevent any disasters from to live in itself is a blessing. But once a person dies, the bonds he once had with this world shall all turn to curses.
Descenders के remains है वो.
What do you mean by that?
No need to fret. These are just my personal thoughts.
मतलब वो descendant का power
and my
है.
reason for no longer wishing to
वो
return
curse
to the
power है. अगर वो
surface.
मर चुका है तो वो cursed होगा फिर वो gnosis.
This third descender you refer to, who are they? And when...
Master never mentioned them to me. Perhaps it just wasn't that important for me to know. If you're interested though, I could ask him. I'll be sure to pass the answer on to you next time.
Please जल्दी answer देना.
Next time? You believe we will meet again?
I do. Wait. I have a disciple of my own, don't I? He can be the messenger.
Child. कुछ वो कर्स है तो वो करेगा क्या? स्नेजनाया करेगा क्या? साइनोसिस का.
That's what she told me. Whether it would prove...
The remains of the third So that's what the Gnosis actually are. Paimon just thought they looked like chess pieces. How could they be a person's remain?
All the same, assuming that there was no misunderstanding or special metaphor at play, that...
And she said that it would bring misfortune and that you should check it, which is why you gave it to the Fatu...
If she speaks the truth, then I would simply be putting Fontaine at
She means one of them. I am the fourth descender. मतलब for me then future means two. अगर हम fourth हैं, I am the fourth. मेरी बहन ही third होगी ना? One that knows a related descender, the two that one of who came before me has already died.
I guess that you might already be familiar with his
पर मेरी
concept.
बहन एक descender नहीं है शायद.
You to be one of them.
क्योंकि उसकी information हमारे पास उस history में मिल गई थी.
That means that the Gnosis, which are exceedingly element compatible and can even enhance elemental abilities, do indeed come from the third descender. I wonder, does your body also possess similar...
Like being able to use elemental powers without a vision. That does sort of count as special compatibility. No, let's not think about this stuff right now.
मतलब वो हमें भी use करना चाहेंगे.
Comparing the traveler to the dead third descender and all.
Don't worry, I won't die so easily.
That's what you say, but this topic still feels like covers. Let's get some more answers out of him. Or go look for his master and get the answers.
I too believe it unwise to make too many blind guesses when information is lacking. The same is true of being at court.
पर बहुत इन्फॉर्मेशन मिली हमें. थर्ड डिसेंडर में थर्ड डिसेंडर को मारा कैसे या ये मरा कैसे?
Yes. All of Focalor's efforts were for this moment.
But she sacrificed herself in the end as a god, and she suffered through all those years as a human. Was that really what
I suppose that would be the mystery of a god's will.
Understand the will of the gods.
I suspect not. But once in a while, I too would guess that if wishes were like the clouds in the sky, they will one day return to the earth as raindrop. Life flows like water, and rain is the final answer. The water levels may sometimes tilt one way or another, but the rain falls fairly upon all. And what ultimately is the difference between the rains that fall upon all of us?
Finally, the Archon quest is completed. तो फिर चले गई बिना मिले. एटलीस्ट चलो यार कुछ बोल भी नहीं सकते उसको. उसके पास ये सब करने का हक था. ये नया बॉस कहाँ पर आया है फिर? अच्छा यहाँ पर आया है. ओके तो चलो फिर आज के लिए यही था. यूट्यूब मैंने फाइनली कंप्लीट कर लिया यार. टाइम क्या हो गया? 11:41. हाँ काफ़ी लंबा. 2 घंटे पहले 4 घंटे ऑलमोस्ट 4 घंटे ज़्यादा 4.5 घंटे का क्वेस्ट था ये अगर देखा जाए. क्वाइट अ लेंथी क्वेस्ट पर बहुत ही इंटरेस्टिंग, बहुत ही मज़ेदार और बहुत ही स्टोरी फिक्स्ड क्वेस्ट आर्कन क्वेस्ट आई है. और काफ़ी इमोशनल जर्नी भी है और मैं काफ़ी सारी न्यू इन्फॉर्मेशन पता कर ली है जिसके हिसाब से हम आगे स्टोरी कंटिन्यू करेंगे. तो नेक्स्ट स्ट्रीम मिलते हैं. तब तक गुड नाइट, टेक केयर. अब हम नेक्स्ट टाइम करेंगे अबिस, जो न्यू वाला अबिस आया. ओके बाय, गुड नाइट.